In this section, we're going to start talking about an application that we're going to build to get a better idea of the differences between functional components and class-based components. With the application we're going to make, we're also going to learn a little bit about state and lifecycle events along the way. These are all some very key, important concepts in the world of React, so we're going to spend a decent amount of time to make sure that you understand all of them. Okay, so here's the app we're going to build. I'm going to tell you right from the get-go, this is a silly application. It is silly. It doesn't really have a huge purpose to it, but nonetheless, it's going to be a simple application that's going to make it very easy for you to understand exactly how class-based components work and how state works and lifecycle methods work. Don't worry, we're going to put together some much more interesting applications as the course goes on, but for right now, I just want to focus on learning some of these key topics. All right, so what are we building? Well, it's going to be an application that is going to detect what season the user is currently experiencing outside, like in the real world. So we're going to say that if the user is located in the northern hemisphere, that means we have to actually detect our user's physical location when they visit our application. So if they're in the northern hemisphere and it's between October and March, then it's probably going to be winter. So I want to print on the screen something like "Burr is chilly" and show some snowflake icons. If the user is in the southern hemisphere, so they are visiting our application from any location on the Earth in the southern hemisphere, and the month is between March and October, that means it's winter for them, people on the southern hemisphere, and so I also want to show "Burr is chilly." And then for the obvious reverse cases over here, so the case in which a user is in the northern hemisphere and it's between March and October, I want to print up something that seems to indicate that it is currently summertime and maybe it's time to hit the beach or something like that. So essentially, we're just detecting what season it is based on the user's location and the current time, or what month it is. And we're going to print some different content on the screen based upon that. Like I said, it seems like a silly application, but there's going to be a ton of hidden challenges inside of here that are going to require us to get a much better understanding of how React works. So with that in mind, I'm going to quickly highlight some of the big challenges as it appears right now with this application. There are going to be more challenges that we're going to run into, besides the ones that I'm listing right here, but I just want you to start thinking about what we're going to have to try to solve as we build this application. So first challenge that we're going to run into, and this one's probably the most obvious one, we need to get the user's physical location. So somehow in the browser, we need to detect what the user's physical location is. Now, this is going to be a little bit easier than it seems at first glance, but nonetheless, there will be a challenge or two. I'll show you exactly how to do this as we start the application. Then the next thing that we need to do is somehow determine the current month. Now that's going to be definitely a little bit easier. JavaScript has some very easy to use APIs for determining the current date and time, and also getting the month number, or what month it is, essentially. And then finally, and this one probably seems a little bit obvious, we need to change text and some styling on the screen based on the location and the month combined together. So that's pretty much it. That's what we're going to try to put together, and that's some of the big challenges that I want you to think about right now. All right, so last thing I want to do very quickly is to generate a new application. So I'm going to flip on over to my terminal, where I have my application still running from the last application we built. I'm going to stop this thing by hitting Control-C, and then I'm going to go up one directory back into my workspace folder of sorts. And then once I'm back here, I'm going to generate a new application with create React app, and then I'm going to call this one seasons, like so. Okay, so that's going to start the process of generating a new application. So let's take a quick pause right here, and we'll continue in the next video.